Hello, students and parents. This is Kevin Cordes, Superintendent of the Muroc Joint Unified School District. Thank you for tuning in again this week. Just a couple of quick announcements. One is related to the reopening of school. You might have seen a lot of things in the news. There are a lot of moving pieces right now. The governor has come out with some proposals for reopening schools. It is very fluid and it's still in the discussion stages at this point. I don't have any announcements related to coming back to school in a physical manner any different than where we currently are right now. But in the upcoming weeks, we should have some updates for you related to where that sits, especially related to governor's proposals and some potential legislation that is being passed both at the state and the federal levels related to getting students back into school as quickly and safely as possible. The other thing I wanted to bring up this evening is sports for high school students. Some of you may have received some information from coaches or from athletic directors at the high school. Uh, Shortly before we went on the winter break, Governor Newsom gave some clarification for school districts throughout California, depending on what color band you are in, and how that correlates to sports and what sports we can practice or potentially play other schools in. So at this point, we're limited in what sports we can play because we are in the most restrictive tier, which is not only purple, but what is considered the deep purple. But it still does allow us the opportunity to have students come in and condition outside. Sometimes it's even inside a building. We have to follow a variety of protocols that are set forth the by Kern County Health Department. Um, but it is a step in the right direction when it comes to getting students, especially student athletes, out of the house and doing some moving and being close with one another. A question was asked by a parent regarding volleyball tryouts. At this point, what I would say is the fall sports, which encompass volleyball and football, have passed for this school year, barring some type of drastic change in the medical condition throughout the country, specifically the state of California, and a few miracles. I don't see football or volleyball happening for this particular school year, but those that do play those sports who would like to condition will have opportunities to do so. Some sports that we can participate in are cross country, for example, tennis, golf, um, baseball, softball, track and field, potentially. So there's not only do we have to take a look at what sports are we allowed to play, but then we also look at what are neighboring school districts doing, and do we have other schools that are wanting to compete in that. So there is a league meeting for sports, which will happen in the beginning of February, and that's where the variety of, or the various athletic directors in our league will get together and discuss what each school district plans to do. But in the meantime, one of the things that we're doing is trying to get students back. Um, Physicals need to be done for students, background checks, and all of the usual trainings that occur for all of coaches need to happen. We are also adding a form for student athletes and parents to sign. It has quite a bit of information, but it lays out our expectations for those who would come and participate. We understand that we can control the environment that the kids will participate in sports. What we cannot control is what they do outside of school when they're under the care of their parents or just themselves. And so the expectations that we will have for student athletes when they come and participate are laid out, and agreements will need to be signed by both the student and the parents that they're willing to accept those. And they are simple things such as um, using acceptable social distancing, wearing masks when it's appropriate. You don't always have to wear a mask when you're practicing or participating, but for a lot of the times or some of the times you do, and we would expect students to do that, and also to just use good, safe, common sense practice skills while they're participating in these. So, anyway, as far as sports goes, just want to give an update that for those students who are interested in that, we are moving very closely towards that. And information, if it already hasn't reached you, should be coming out in the next week or two. So, with that, appreciate all that everyone is doing. We hope that you have a wonderful week. We have a 3-day weekend this week with Martin Luther King being celebrated on Monday. So, we'll see everybody back next week on Tuesday and have a shortened school week. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.